In this lesson, you'll learn a little bit about the difference between solids and surfaces and how to work between them. Let's start off with a simple extrusion. If I extrude a surface feature, I can extrude using any of the end conditions that you can use with a solid. So I'll select midplane, drag out the arrow, and now I'll select cap end. On the midplane extrusion, the cap end option actually caps both ends. So this should create an enclosed, but it should create a surface. SOLIDWORKS creates a solid body from the surface extrusion if the cap end option is used. Let's revisit that feature, turn off the cap end, and rebuild, and now it's a surface body. Let's take another look at the surface extrude feature, but we'll make it blind and use cap end. When you do a blind extrusion capping the end, it only caps one end. And you only wind a surface body, not a solid body. So you can see this end is open. If you edit the surface extrude and extrude in direction 2, any distance, and use the cap end option, then you wind up with a solid body. So if SOLIDWORKS creates a feature that encloses a volume with an extrude feature, it will automatically create a solid from this. Let's play around a little bit with this model. It's fairly simple, but let's move of solids and surfaces with it. Let's start by using the delete face function to delete one end of the block. Now we're back to a surface body, and you can see the light blue edges mean that we have an open surface, and you can see right into it. If we cap this end off, say with a planar surface, right-click on this edge and select open loop, and then hit the right mouse button to accept. We have two surface bodies now. Knitting them together gives us the option try to form solid. If we leave that unchecked, we wind up with a single surface body. If we revisit that and check it, we'll wind up with a solid body. There are only a couple of features in SOLIDWORKS that can make a solid from a surface. The knit is one of those. Let's go back and delete these two features, the knit and the planar surface. And let's show another surface function that can make a solid. That's the fill surface. Right-click and select open loop again. And this time, I'll tell it to merge the result, which is different than the merge you see on solid features. This means that it's just going to knit the result into the rest of the body. And once we've done that, SOLIDWORKS recognizes that it's going to enclose a volume, and so it can try to form a solid. And it does create a solid. So we could get two separate bodies. We could get two separate surface bodies. We could get a single surface body, or we could get a single solid body. I'll delete this surface fill. There's one other feature that can make a solid from a surface, and that is the thicken feature. There are two ways that thicken can create a solid from a surface. One is if you just have an open surface and you select the body, SOLIDWORKS with the thicken command will add thickness to one face, toward the outside, toward the inside, or on both sides of the selected body. The merge result in this case means that if there are other solid bodies in contact with the new thickened body, the SOLIDWORKS will merge them together into a single body. In this case, there are no other solid bodies, so nothing would be merged. When I click the check on this, SOLIDWORKS returns a single solid body with a constant. Let's delete the thicken feature. Now I'll add a surface fill. Right-click, select open loop. This time I'll only select merge result, and we wind up with a single surface body. But you notice that it's fully enclosed. We'll use the insert thicken command again. We'll select the enclosed body. And because it's enclosed, SOLIDWORKS gives us the option to create a solid from. The other option is what we saw before, where SOLIDWORKS adds material either to the inside or to the outside of the body. So these are the various ways that you can go about creating a solid body from a surface body. If you need to go the other direction, we've already seen one way, but we'll demonstrate that again. You can use delete face to remove faces of a solid. In this case, we'll remove 3. And it will leave you with a surface body. To delete that, delete face feature. So it comes back to a solid body. Other ways that you can create a surface from a solid are the knit command. When you use knit, you have to select multiple faces. And now we have a solid body with a surface body that lies right on top of it. Let's delete the surface knit feature. The next way that you can create a surface from a solid is to use the offset command. Offset and knit are often used to some extent interchangeably. If you select a single face and tell it you want a 0 distance offset, this achieves something that the knit command cannot achieve. You can get a surface copy of a single face of the solid. But you can also use this to copy multiple faces. And we again wind up with a surface body right on top of a solid body. In most modeling situations, your finished product will wind up being a solid body. You will use surfaces as reference geometry and as model faces along the way toward developing the solid. You may need to go back and forth between solids and surfaces, although you should try to minimize changing back and forth frequently within a part. We'll take a look at more of this type of functionality in the rest of the lessons in Chapter 4.